The story in the missing plane happened in 2013. This time, a family is waiting to board the plane. Kayla is a police. Recently, she was being urged to marry. Her brother Tom is an office worker. He has a son and a daughter. This is a very happy family. But no, they have many problems. Tom's son born with leukemia. The doctor said the boy could only live for 6 months. Kayla advised her mother not to talk about getting married. Then the loudspeaker rang. They said that the number of tickets sold out was excessive. Someone needs to delay the flight. For customers with flight delays, they will compensate at $400. Tom immediately moved to have money for his son to cure. The son also understood the story of staying with his father. Kayla didn't want to listen to her parents' words. She also delayed the flight, but now they don't know that. Deciding this time, what they postponed isn't just the flight, but also a whole life. The plane quickly took off. The passengers thought that this flight will end peacefully as always, but unexpectedly the plane suddenly shook strongly. The lights were turned off. Luckily, plane restored to normal. The captain used the loudspeaker to explain that the shock just now was caused by the weather. The plane will land in the next few minutes, but the strange story is still behind. The captain contacted the ground command. Then the opponent seemed to be unaware of this flight. Finally, they told the captain to change to another airport for the landing. Everyone got off the plane. The police was around. This time the airport manager came up and told them, today is November 4th, 2018. It also means they've been missing for 5 years. Listening to this, everyone feels confused. Taking off in 2013, and landing again in 2018. They can't accept it. In order not to cause a commotion, the police conducted an interview with each person. But the results are, except when there was a strong shake in the middle of the flight, nothing happened. 36 hours later, everyone was finally allowed to leave. Plane has been missing for 5 years suddenly came back. The person picking up at the airport was filled with the outside parents of them. Tom's wife and daughter both came. But everything changed. Some people get old, others grow up. Only they are still the same. When they knows that their mother had passed away, Kayla cried. The next day, Kayla returned to the police station. Everyone used to work with her is still there, but not the same as before. In addition to the change in appearance, everyone's life is different. Example, Kayla's boyfriend. During these 5 years he was married to another person. Remember the year Kayla was refused her boyfriend's proposal. This incident makes she finally thought through, but the discovery was too late. But this 5-year unjustified disappearance, it also doesn't bring all bad things. For example, the medical proficiency has grown tremendously. Tom's dying son get treatment. It doesn't matter whether it's all good or bad. Then Kayla and Tom must accept. But that day, while sitting on the bus, strange thing happened. Slow down. Kayla suddenly heard a voice in her mind, caused Kayla to suddenly stand still on the spot. She told the driver to slow down, but the driver didn't care anymore. Slow down. No one knew how Kayla could predict it. Kayla didn't know to clarify the situation. Kayla went to see Tom, but Tom warned Kayla that there must be no manifestations of abnormal psychiatry. Ultimately, before finding out the truth of the matter, the police won't let them go. Tom's words of course make sense, but the voice in Kayla's mind continued. That day, while Kayla was running her morning exercise, her voice resounded. This time it's telling her to let go of the dog. At first, Kayla was about to ignore this voice, but unexpected. That voice kept her awake. Kayla didn't care as much. She arrived in the morning to prepare to save 2 dogs, but unexpectedly just arrived. Then Tom also comes. This time, Kayla finally understood. That voice was also heard by her brother. He's just afraid of causing trouble. He only doesn't want to admit. They let go of the dogs. Early the next morning, the police received a report that someone broke into people's homes, because seeing people on camera is his ex-girlfriend. So he got to handle the case, even though he was recently having a headache over a kidnapping case. In the afternoon, this friend came to find Kayla. He asked Kayla why he did that. Kayla's explanation was unclear. At this moment in her heart both sat in pity. It's just a flight. But the death of her mother, her boyfriend would get married. The hallucination of sound reappeared on herself. An ex-boyfriend still has feelings for Kayla. This time she still feels guilty inside. He convinced Kayla. Kayla brings the dog back with him. At the same time, ask for forgiveness from the other. But while walking in Kayla's mind, a voice resounded. Let them go. Ex-boyfriend immediately went to find a dog breeder when they negotiated. Then Kayla followed the voice in her head. In front of a warehouse door, 2 dogs stood in front of the door looking at her. Kayla picked up the cane and started banging on the door. Hearing the sound, ex-boyfriend and dog breeder rushed to stop Kayla. Seeing that the incident was revealed, the dog owner beat his ex-boyfriend with a stick. Fortunately, he isn't bad. There are 2 girls locked up in this warehouse. It is the person harmed in the kidnapping that this ex-boyfriend is in charge of. The case has been cleared. Kayla is of course not prosecuted anymore, but she relied on intuition to solve the case, reattract the attention of colleagues. Her ex-boyfriend asked her the reason. Kayla can't explain. After all, she still couldn't accept it. This guy married his best friend. Tom's son was admitted to the hospital. The knot in the lap was opened, but 5 years passed. They were unavoidable that there were some problems. In 5 years, Tom went missing. His wife has a new lover. The concussion delayed the time of all flight passengers by 5 years. Something unusual again. Are there really only 2 people, Kayla and Tom? No. That evening, passengers didn't make an appointment, but arrived at the airport. The plane exploded. Obviously the people on this flight. That voice has been heard recently. It also very evident along with the plane explosion.